Hello and welcome to the news updates on AFRICUNIA television, bringing you updates around the world from our studio here in the nation's commercial capital, Lagos, Nigeria. And I'm Deborah, Ezeh. Looking into the African scene today, we begin from Nigeria, where more flakes trailed President Muhammadu Buhari's note to all Progressives Congress governors of his decision to appoint a successor ahead of the party's national convention on Monday. While the APC governors to whom the instruction was handed down are yet to arrive at their choice of consensus candidates, high-ranking members of the party and senior citizens have berated the president for his comment, which they said could derail the transition process ahead of the 2023 general elections. Speaking yesterday, the National Vice Chairman Northwest of APC, Dr. Saliu Lukman, admonished President Buhari not to fall into the temptation of imposing the presidential candidate of the party. The current state of play in the APC has been further compounded by the differing position of a stakeholder on the zoning palaver, a development which has seen some governors insisting on going south for balancing, while the national chairman of the party, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, in cahoots with a few others, would rather go north for political expediency. Now, a group routine for Vice President Yomi Oshibajo's presidential bid said that the president, having consulted with the government and planned meetings with stakeholders on the choice of the APC presidential candidate, was not out to impose anybody on the party. Now, still in Nigeria, former Vice President Atiku yesterday received the certificate of return as the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 general elections, urging the party to bear in mind that there was much work to be done before victory. He spoke as the national chairman of PDP, Dr. Ayu, called for a united party, describing the outcome of the special national presidential convention as a family affair where there was no victor and no vanquished. According to Atiku, who spoke on his victory at the convention, he said, and I quote, "Let us all remember that what just happened is a contest within a family to decide how to put our best foot forward. The main contest is the one to win the presidency of our country for our party. It will require the entire PDP family and other supporters and sympathizers. We must pull everyone together. Nobody should be excluded, I beg of you." End of quote. Now, the former vice president said he had already visited some of those who contested against him as a way to lead in that effort to unify the party so that they can face the real opponent, defeat them in the elections, and begin the process of rescuing and rebuilding this country from the callous and dangerous All Progressives Congress misrule over the past 7 years, which is there for everyone to see. Now, away from Nigeria, Guinea ruling junta has rejected a UN call to lift a ban on political demonstrations, insisting protests should only be allowed during the election period in 3 years' time. The military overthrew President Alpha Conde in September and last month declared a ban on public demonstrations before a return to civilian rule, which it says will be in 3 years. The UN's Human Rights High Commission on Monday called for the ban to be revoked, but the junta rejected the appeal late Tuesday. Meanwhile, a special anti-corruption court on Tuesday ordered 3 former Conde ministers who were charged in April with suspected embezzlement to be maintained in custody. A series of investigations have been opened against personalities from the former regime and even from the opposition to former President Conde. The judiciary announced in early May proceedings against Conde and some 30 former senior officials under his presidency for assassination, acts of torture or abduction. And now political parties are increasingly crying out that the judiciary and the chiefs are being manipulated. Now, still on the African scene, hundreds of Sudanese protesters rallied Wednesday in front of the United Nations mission in the capital Khartoum to call for its dismissal. The protesters included supporters of Islamist group critical of efforts by UN envoy Volker Perthes to resolve the political crisis in the country since last year's military coup. The rallies came as the UN Security Council is considering extending the mission's mandate beyond June 3rd, and many accused the envoy of interfering in Sudan's internal affairs. On Sunday, military leader Abdel Fattah al-Burhan lifted the state of emergency imposed since the coup to set the stage for meaningful dialogue that achieves stability for the transitional period. The decision came after a meeting with senior military officials that also recommended that people detained under an emergency law be freed. We now head to the latest on the foreign scene. The death toll caused by Hurricane Agatha in Mexico fell tonight after initial report of 11 dead, as another 4 are currently missing. The governor of the Mexico southern state of Oaxaca, Alejandro Murat, has said on Wednesday morning that 11 were dead and 33 missing following the storm. State authorities said many of the missing were found after contacts were established with Oaxaca remote communities. The governor said the tallies of death and missing were preliminary and urged people to remain alert. The U.S. National Hurricane Center said on Wednesday morning there was an 80% chance that a cyclone would form in the Atlantic from Agatha's remnants in the next 48 hours. And now moving on, India's health ministry reported 3,712 new coronavirus infections for the past 24 hours on Thursday, the highest in nearly a month, driven up by a record number of cases recorded in the financial capital Mumbai. The city reported 739 cases on Wednesday night, more than double the number it recorded just 2 days earlier, 318. Hospitalization in Mumbai were low, and 96% of the cases reported on Wednesday were asymptomatic, the city's civic body said in its daily COVID-19 report. There is no rise in hospitalization. People are quarantining themselves at home and recovering at home. India has recorded more than 43 million cases and 524,641 deaths since the pandemic began. Meanwhile, at least 3 people were killed by gunmen at a hospital campus in Tulsa, Oklahoma on Wednesday as Americans still grappled with grief and anger over the shooting at a Texas school just over a week ago. The gunman, who was armed with a rifle, was also killed in the incident, police said, without clarifying if he was shot by the law enforcement agents or turned his weapon on himself. 4 people were deceased, including the shooter, and U.S. President Joe Biden has been briefed on the Tulsa shooting, the White House said in a statement, adding that the administration has offered support to local officials. Some key federal lawmakers have also voiced caution, optimism, and bipartisan group of senators walked through the weekend to pursue possible areas of compromise. They reportedly were focusing on laws to raise the age for gun purchases or to allow police to remove guns from people considered a threat to themselves or others, but not an outright ban on high-powered rifles like the weapon used in both Uvalde and Buffalo. Now, still on the foreign scene, the World Health Organization has cast doubt on North Korea's claim of progress in the fight against a COVID-19 outbreak, saying it believes the situation is getting worse than better amid an absence of independent data. North Korean state media has said the COVID wave has abated after the daily number of people with fever topped 390,000 about 2 weeks ago. Pyongyang has never directly confirmed how many people have tested positive for the virus, but experts suspect underreporting in the figures released through government-controlled media, making it difficult to assess the scale of the situation. The WHO has offered assistance on multiple occasions, including vaccine and supply, and North Korea reported 96,610 more people showing fever amid its nationwide lockdown aimed at containing the impoverished country's first confirmed COVID-19 outbreak. The media, however, did not mention whether there were any new deaths. Now, away from the foreign scene, we now head to the world of sports. Paul Pogba will leave Manchester United when his contract expires at the end of June, while the club has held initial talks with Barcelona over the signing of Frenkie de Jong. United Academy graduate Pogba left Old Trafford to join Juventus as a free agent for 2012, only to return 4 years later for a then world record fee of £98 million. The 29-year-old, a World Cup winner with France in 2018, is now leaving United on a free transfer for the second occasion, with a return to Juventus potentially on the cards. Pogba's representatives held positive talks with Juventus last month but remain in dialogue with Paris Saint-Germain and Real Madrid. And finally, the 2022 World Cup in Qatar kicks off on Monday, November 21st at the Al Thumama Stadium, when Senegal take on the Netherlands in a Group A, followed by host Qatar against Ecuador at the Al Bayt Stadium. England will also feature on the first day with their Group B match against Iran, scheduled to take place just 8 days after the Premier League shuts down. If Wales reach the finals via the playoffs, they will play England on Tuesday, November 29th in Group B. The final will be played at the Lusail Stadium in Doha a week before Christmas on Sunday, December 18th. Mexico and the United States also qualified for the World Cup in their final qualifier, and Senegal, Ghana, Tunisia, Morocco, and Cameroon were among the final countries to book their places at Qatar 2022. Europe, Portugal and Poland progressed to the final after winning their playoffs final against North Macedonia and Sweden, respectively. The third and final European playoff, which will feature Wales against Ukraine, has been delayed until June. And that's all from us on News Update today. Do stay connected and updated to our news and other programs by subscribing to our YouTube channel and also by following us on all our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter respectively. Once again, I am Deborah Ezeh. Many thanks for watching.